Hello friends, myself Bindu Prakash Dwivedi. I am here with another topic of human male reproductive system, chapter name, and the topic name is oogenesis in human female. If we think about the stages of gametogenesis either in the male and the female, then in case of male, the spermatogenesis starts from the puberty commencement time, while in case of female, the oogenesis begins from the fetal life itself. Very clear? So there is a difference of timing in oogenesis and spermatogenesis. In the oogenesis starts from the fetal life, while spermatogenesis starts from commencement of puberty. Very clear? So what happens in case of fetal life in human female? There is a formation of a specific type of cell, and these specific type of cell here we can see are known as primordial germinal cell. Primordial germinal cells are the kind of cells which are produced from the yolk sac during fifth week of fetal life. During fifth week of fetal life, primordial germinal cells are produced. These primordial germinal cells migrate to ovaries in the fetal life itself, where they undergo mitotic proliferation, and after mitotic proliferation they result large number of oogonia. So here we can say these oogonia are not the ovarian origin cells, means oogonia are extragonadial, or they are not the cells which produced by the ovary themselves, because these are the cells produced by the mitotic proliferation of PGCs already produced from the yolk sac of fetal life. And if we go for the duration is fifth week of fetal life. Very clear? So once the as a result of mitotic division, large number of oogonia are produced. Now these oogonia will start the next phase or the next development stage, and that is growth phase. As if we come to know about the growth phase in spermatogenesis itself, the growth phase is the phase where the early cells start accumulating nutrient in them so that they can survive for some time. So what happens in this growth phase? These oogonia acquire nutrient in them, and once they acquire nutrient in them, they become larger in size and now known as primary oocyte. So primary oocytes are the cells which produced after the completion of growth phase by the oogonia. Still the ploidy remains the same. There is no change of ploidy. And as far as the NCRT statement is, says that 2 million of primary oocyte are produced in each ovary in human female during fetal life, and no more oogonia or the oocyte are produced or added after birth. Means this is a entire amount of oocytes present in the female ovaries. So 2 million per ovary. If I even say there are 4 million oocytes, primary oocytes are there present in the ovary of a female, and no more oocyte or oogonia will be added after birth. Means whatever the number of primary oocyte produced in fetal life will be undergoing further changes. Further changes are developmental processes by which they are going to develop or going to produce an ovum. The primary oocyte within the fetal life itself is still the fetal life is going on. That means before birth, what kind of changes here I just wanted to explain you people. These primary oocyte enter into the maturation phase. Now maturation phase is the phase where meiotic division takes place. In case of maturation division, the meiotic division takes place or reductional division takes place. Since we know the meiotic division completes into two stages, meiotic 1 and meiotic 2. तो जो meiotic 2 है and that is reductional type of division, and meiotic 1 is equitational type of division. So the primary oocyte, those produced in a fetal ovary, enter into the first meiotic division or the maturation phase. Now, if we go with the different stages of meiotic 1 and prophase 1, this prophase 1 itself complete into 5 stages, and out of the 5 stages are leptotin, zygotin, pachytin, diplotin, dikinesis, 5 stages are there. If on a trick way, lamba jira pahuncha Dehradun. So these primary oocyte get arrested at diplotin of prophase 1. अब जो भी number of primary oocyte are produced, those have underwent in the maturation division or first meiotic division, they will remain arrested in diplotin stage of prophase 1. Very clear? अब what happens next? In next condition, what happens? Whatever the primary oocytes are there, let this one is a primary oocyte. This one is a primary oocyte. Within the fetal life, these primary oocytes get arrested by some specific type of cells. The primary oocyte gets surrounded by some cells around it. Some cells are there which surround the primary oocyte. This one is primary oocyte, and the cells which surround it are granulosa cells. These cells are known as granulosa cells. And now this structure having granulosa cells and primary oocyte is known as primary follicle. This is the primary follicle. These primary follicle remain present in ovary. Remain present in ovary. Okay, in fetal female. No more changes in fetal life. No more changes in fetal life. After that, there are no more changes in the fetal life, means a female born with primary follicles in its ovaries. Very clear? Female born with primary follicles in which the primary oocyte has already undergone the process of first meiotic division but arrested at diplotin stage. Very clear? So whatever the changes, or we can say the phases of development will resume at puberty. Before puberty, no changes are being seen in the primary oocytes, or you can say the primary follicle in a human female. Very clear? Let us see some more information. So if I simply going to explain this internal change, I will take a different lecture regarding the entire development of the oocyte and the follicle. But similarly, very simply here, I just wanted to explain the changes in oocyte. Very clear? Let us say. So this one, oogonia. Oogonia result in the formation of primary oocyte, and in both cases the ploidy is 2n, that is 46 chromosome. No change in the number of chromosome of these primary oocyte at birth. बर्थ के टाइम पे इतना है, and at puberty. At puberty what happens? At puberty, this primary oocyte completes its first meiotic. And produces one of them is secondary oocyte and another is फर्स्ट पोलर बॉडी, वेरी क्लियर, फर्स्ट पोलर बॉडी का प्रोडक्शन हुआ. तो प्राइमरी oocyte at puberty, when the further development stages resumes, the primary oocyte completes its first meiotic division, which was arrested in diplotin 1 and result in the formation of two cells of unequal size. Two cells of unequal size. Two cells of unequal size, but each having same number of chromosomes. The number of chromosomes in each cell are 23, means each cell is haploid. The amount of DNA contained in each cell, whether it is the secondary oocyte or the first polar body, having equal number of cells, but the amount of cytoplasm is different in both cells. Like oocyte contains maximum of the cytoplasm, while the first polar body contains very little amount of the cytoplasm. Means, if we say over here that karyokinesis is of equal type, very clear, the division of nuclear material is equal in both of the cell, but the mechanism of cytokinesis is unequal. One of the cell acquires maximum amount of cytoplasm, while another cell requires very little amount of the cytoplasm, and that is why the larger cell is said to be the secondary oocyte and another smaller cell called as the first polar body. So question arises here, why the first meiotic division is unequal in case of human female, while in case of human male, when the meiotic division take place, the cytokinesis and karyokinesis both are same. Very clear. So difference is actually what happens, this oocyte has to remain alive for some time, at least till the time of implantation. So it requires maximum amount of nutrient to be stored, so that if fertilization happens, then it can be remain alive, it can remain active till the time of implantation. That is why it requires maximum cytoplasm, okay, which already has huge amount of nutrient in it. That means nutrient rich cytoplasm must be is huge in amount in one of the cell, that is secondary oocyte, while the first polar body generally degenerates. They do not participate in formation of the zygote, or they do not participate in the process of fertilization. So I just wanted to summarize this slide. In fetal life, the primary follicles are produced, each having one oocyte in them. Very clear. Now, these primary follicles or the primary oocyte remain dormant stage. No change we seen in the human female in the fetal life. But whenever the puberty starts, then at puberty, the resumption or कह सकते हैं beginning of the further development stages in the primary oocyte. The primary oocyte, which was at birth near about 2 million के आसपास, I told you no more oocyte are added after form in a human female after birth. Now the primary oocyte at the level of puberty completes its first meiotic division, result in the production of two cells of unequal size. One is the secondary oocyte and another is first polar body. अब what happens? That means this secondary oocyte get ovulated. The secondary oocyte get ovulated means released from ovary. Released from ovary. But the secondary oocyte over here, before ovulation, started its second meiotic, but not completed. Second meiotic started but not completed. So at which stage second meiotic is arrested? Meiotic 2 is arrested at metaphase 2 means the ovum released from ovary is in metaphase 2. Still second meiotic not completed means meiotic division is still arrested or halted for some time. So why the meiotic 2 is not completed? Actually, if meiotic 2 is completed, then the lifespan of ovum will be very, very less, because as soon as the meiotic 2 is completed, it will die after within very few hours. But metaphase 2, if remains suspended, it can remain alive for at least for 24 hours after ovulation. So this here I am writing word ovum, but actually this is not the ovum. Misconceptionally, we call it as an ovum, but it is a secondary oocyte. Here we better word to be written over is immature ovum, because still it has not completed its meiotic 2. So if this secondary oocyte, if secondary oocyte gets fertilized, means here we have the secondary oocyte, okay, and now it is being fertilized. This is the sperm. So as soon as sperm enters into the secondary oocyte, what the first event going to take place at the level of secondary oocyte? The secondary oocyte first completes its meiotic 2, and once the meiotic 2 is completed, again 2 cells are produced of unequal size, and that is second polar body and the mature ovum, also known as oocyte. Now this oocyte get fuses, then now this oocyte is being fertilized by the sperm nucleus. Okay, now the oocyte is being fertilized by the nucleus of the sperm and resulting in the formation of 2n zygote. Very clear? 2n zygote will be produced only after fertilization. Means so, if we have some more about here that the first meiotic division completed prior to ovulation, second meiotic division started prior to ovulation but not completed. Once the secondary oocyte is released, it is in this secondary oocyte, meiotic 2 is arrested at metaphase 2. Now this metaphase 2 or the completion of second meiotic division solely depends upon fertilization. If this secondary oocyte is being penetrated or is going to be fertilized with the sperm, then after its second meiotic division will be completed, and again the second meiotic division will of unequal size, one cell having larger size of second oocyte or the ovum, and another is said to be the second polar body. So in human female, this oogenesis is कह सकते हैं कि requires long duration for completion of multiple stages of oogenesis, while in case of human male, the spermatogenesis completes in one go. All the stages are going to complete one after another very quickly in case of human males, but in case of human female, the stages are quite long. It may take months or years to complete. Very clear? Again, the second polar body, this degenerates. So sometimes questions are there, how many polar bodies are produced in a human female? So normal cases पर there are production of only 2 polar bodies, one prior to ovulation, the first polar body, and second polar body will be produced only after the fertilization has taken place. If fertilization has not taken place, second polar body will never be produced. So there are different other type of questions will be there. There is a female, there is an unmarried female who has not produced any of the child anymore. Then how many ovum are produced? Yeah, ovum I mean to say mature ovum. So number of ovum in an unmarried female will be 0, because the production of mature ovum is possible only after fertilization. But the question arises, the female will it produce the oocyte? Of course, the female will produce the oocyte. The female will produce the oocytes, but will never produce the ovum. Which female I am talking about? The unmarried female. Very clear. Will produce the secondary oocyte, but will not produce the ovum. I am talking about with respect to ovum is mature ovum. Very clear. So this is the normal view. Now I am going with another set of development. Okay. Let us understand with the help of some number of slides here. Okay. Let us see. The file getting open. So what kind of changes are there? The game of patience. Why I have given this heading, the game of patience? The game of patience because in human male, spermatogenesis completes in one go, while in case of human female, it is a year long or कह सकते हैं many year decades long mechanism है. The commencement from the fetal life and completes till the age of 50 year or something. Very clear? So unlike spermatogenesis, oogenesis characterized by long period of suspended mechanism. Suspended कैसे? The first meiotic division already started in the fetal life but still not completed. It means it is suspended till the puberty. Very clear. The process begins before birth, pause for over decades. Approximate 10 to 12 years of age, the process will remain suspended and completes upon fertilization. Means even if the female has produced a secondary oocyte, but still the mechanism of oogenesis is not complete until the secondary oocyte is not being penetrated by the sperm. A healthy reproductive female produces approximately 450 to 500 mature ovum in her lifetime. So, my dear friend, if we go with the lines of NCERT, near about 2 million follicles are produced. 2 million follicle in each ovary. Sorry. 2 million follicle, and in more advanced way, if I want to write over here, 2 million primary follicles. Very clear? Primary follicles each having one primary oocyte. So 2 million primary follicles per ovary, each ovary. So if the number of follicles in human female are 2 million in the fetal life, but total number of ovum to be produced in human female are 450 to 500. So why there is a drastic reduction in the number? So this drastic reduction in the number is said to be a drastic reduction in the number of follicles, because out of these 2 million follicles, maturation of only 450 to 500 follicle takes place. So what happens with the rest of the follicle? So dear friend, rest of follicle undergo follicular atresia. Follicular atresia is a kind of what? degeneration of follicle, and it is pre-planned. It is pre-planned. Means as the age advances in a female, the follicular atresia continues till old age. That means till age of 50. Around the age of 50, follicles are basically they are 0 or nil in the ovary. That is why a female experiences menopause or no menstruation in a female around the age of 50. Reason is that this follicular atresia starts from fetal life and continues till the age of 50. So by the age of 50, or you can say that around the age of 50, no more follicle left behind in the ovary. So there is no chance of menstruation, and if menstruation ceases, then we say this is menopause. So the main cause of menopause is absence of follicle in ovaries. In fetal life, multiplicative phase PGCs from the yolk sac. I already explained this. These PGCs migrate from the yolk sac, reach to the ovaries where they undergo multiplication phase, result in a large number of oogonia. Then each of the oogonia further enter into the growth, resulting in the formation of primary oocyte. Now the primary oocytes, very clear, enter into maturation phase. As they come in the diplotin stage for phase 1, all of the primary oocyte, this first meiotic division is arrested and remains suspended in ovary. And once if this primary oocyte complete its first meiotic and is ovulated, now it will complete division whenever it is being fertilized. Very clear? So multiplicative phase, large number of PGCs. This is, you can say, oogonial arrest, that is kind of a stage where the primary oocyte get undergo the process of arrest. Growth phase complete hua. The arrest. The before female even born, the surviving female primary oocyte enter the meiotic one. I already explained this one, which remain halted. The ploidy still remains 2n. The cell will remain completely suspended in the arrest state through the rest of the fetal development and childhood, waiting for the hormonal signals in the adult level of puberty. Now the secondary oocyte completes, that means the primary oocyte. The primary oocyte primary oocyte in puberty completes its first meiotic division only after hormonal signals are being produced in the female, resulting in the production of two cells, the secondary oocyte and the first polar body. Here you can say the two cells are of unequal size. The secondary oocyte is very much large, having most of nutrient or cytoplasm in it, while the first polar body has least amount of the cytoplasm in it. And this secondary oocyte, which is being ovulated, has completed its first meiotic, but still the second meiotic is arrested. And you know, second meiotic division is arrested at metaphase 2. So remember it. How many stages and which stage the division gets arrested? Ovulation within 24 meiosis 2 completes, then the formation of the zygote. The trigger. If a sperm successfully penetrates the oocyte, meiotic 2 instantly completes, yielding the mature ovum oocyte and the second polar body. The second polar body will be produced only when the secondary oocyte is successfully penetrated by the sperm. Or you can say the fully functional ovum will be only produced in a female if the secondary oocyte is being fertilized by the sperm. Certain stages are meiotic arrest के stages हैं यहाँ पर. Cell stage primary oocyte diploid, cell stage secondary oocyte haploid. Suspended stage in case of primary oocyte stages prophase 1, that is diplotin stage suspended है. Where is metaphase 2 suspend है यहाँ पर. In duration fetal life until puberty, duration in after ovulation and the puberty. Trigger to resume menstrual cycle, hormones trigger to resume sperm. This means what triggers the resumption of completion of first meiotic is menstrual hormones during the menstrual cycle is released in the human female. What trigger the completion of second meiotic or metaphase 2 in case of female, and that is fertilization by the sperm. Very clear? And if we see a detailed structure of a human female ovum, then the outermost layer of irregular cell. The outermost layer of irregular cell is known as corona radiata. Actually, when there is a development of follicles, so number of cells, specific cells are there, granulosa cells. So certain granulosa cells remain in the peripheral region and arrange specific layer-like structure. These irregular cells, which are produced from the granulosa cell result in the formation of corona radiata, and the cells of corona radiata undoubtedly having some gap or intercellular space with them. So in order to hold these cells together, they are present a cementing material, hyaluronic acid. And then zona pellucida. This zona pellucida is a non-cellular, very clear, non-cellular membrane hai, and this zona pellucida produced or secreted by secondary oocyte. Secondary oocyte. Somewhere it is written the zona pellucida secreted by the primary oocyte. Of course, it is 100% correct. Zona pellucida is being secreted by the primary oocyte. But as far as NEET exam is concerned, we have to follow the core book, that is NCERT, and in NCERT it is very much clear written that zona pellucida secreted by secondary oocyte. This is non-cellular layer, basically composed of glycoproteins, and then there is a space, this one here you can see. This space is called as perivitelline space, and here inner to perivitelline space there is space ulema or the egg membrane, and here this is the entire nuclear content of this secondary oocyte or the ovum released. Very clear? The zona pellucida, as it is highly essential or vital membrane hai. Zona pellucida is a primary egg membrane in human female, and it is vital or very significant non-cellular layer secreted by secondary oocyte. I am repeating, zona pellucida non-cellular glycoproteinaceous secreted by secondary oocyte. Never learn any other book or any other resource that ki zona pellucida secreted from primary oocyte. Only one thing to be in your mind, and that is zona pellucida is secreted from secondary oocyte. Very clear? Okay. So why this zona pellucida is very much essential? Actually, this zona pellucida is having various type of proteins, and these various type of proteins are known as ZP1, ZP2 and ZP3, और कैसे जोना पेलुसिडा रिसेप्टर प्रोटीन्स होती हैं. जस्ट थिंक कि why the sperm of one species normally does not fuses with the ovum of another species. Means if there is a sperm of the goat will not going to fertilize with the ovum of the sheep. Very clear? So what is the specificity is there? Actually, the eggs are having a specific type of membrane called a zona pellucida, and this zona pellucida have a specific type of protein receptor. These specific protein receptor are species specific, means this ZP3 का एक, you can say the complementary protein will be present on sperm. Very clear? I'm just going to erase here, otherwise you will be confused. This zona pellucida is having a specific type of receptor like ZP1, ZP2, ZP3. Like ZP3 is the protein receptor present on the ovum. It will going to bind, it will going to attach with the protein present on the sperm of the same species. If the sperm being artificially injected or being introduced in the female reproductive tract of different species, these sperm will not going to bind or attach with the egg or with the zona pellucida. So zona pellucida having specific type of protein receptors which are species specific and will attach or bind with the complementary protein present on the sperm of same species. Very clear? So here, hypothalamus release hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone, which acts on anterior pituitary, and now this anterior pituitary secretes hormone FSH and LH. FSH act on granulosa cells for the follicle secrete estrogen and the inhibin hormone. Follicles are the sources of two hormones, estrogen and inhibin. These estrogen and inhibin having their different roles. We'll discuss in the following topics. Positive feedback. Estrogen gives the positive feedback when in high concentration. Estrogen has two feedback over the anterior pituitary and hypothalamus. When estrogen level is low or moderate, it will produce negative feedback. But when estrogen level is high, it will produce positive feedback. And due to the positive feedback of estrogen, LH hormone is being secreted, and now this LH hormone will trigger the process of ovulation. Very clear? Once the ovulation has taken place, here LH act on the luteal cells or the granulosa cells. Okay. Once LH hormone is being secreted, this LH hormone causes ovulation. And after ovulation, let us see. Here, there is a structure known as mature tertiary follicle or Graafian follicle. Very clear? This is mature tertiary follicle. This mature tertiary follicle is having what? Secondary oocyte in it. Secondary oocyte in it. This secondary oocyte. So under the influence of LH hormone, there is a process of what? Ovulation. And as a result of ovulation, the secondary oocyte released from this mature tertiary follicle, or we can say the Graafian follicle, while the remaining follicle get changed into corpus luteum. So corpus luteum is nothing but the empty Graafian follicle or empty mature tertiary follicle left behind after release of secondary oocyte. And now the LH hormone itself, this LH hormone itself, we can say that LH hormone has two roles. One, triggering of the ovulation process, that is that trigger the release of ovum from the mature tertiary follicle or the Graafian follicle. At the same time, it also transforms remaining follicle into corpus luteum. That is why somewhere I am going to explain here that the LH act on the luteal cells of the corpus luteum, secrete large amount of progesterone. Sometimes the question is being asked, what are the sources of estrogen and the progesterone? And if you are asked independently, the source of estrogen are the follicles, while the main source of progesterone are the corpus luteum. If I say the hormone which mainly produced from the corpus luteum, the answer will be progesterone. Very clear? FSH act on granulosa cells of the corpus luteum, secrete estrogen and inhibin. I will explain negative feedback progesterone. Let us see the hormonal changes. This hypothalamus secrete the hormone, that is GnRH. Now this gonadotropin releasing hormone acts on anterior pituitary and increases the level of hormone LH and FSH. Very clear? Under the influence of GnRH, anterior pituitary से LH और FSH का लेवल क्या होगा? Increase हो जाएगा. The level of LH and FSH will increase or will be secreted more concentration. Now this FSH and LH collectively work on the developing follicle and bring their maturation of the follicles. Very clear? Now what happens in later stages? This LH hormone bring about ovulation and also work on the luteal cells and the granulosa cell, resulting in the formation of various type of hormones like FSH act on granulosa cells for the secret estrogen and estrogen and the inhibin, while the luteal cells secrete progesterone. Of this inhibin, actually this inhibin has negative feedback. This inhibin has the negative feedback mainly on anterior pituitary, but very least or negligible role on hypothalamus. Means if we are being asked a question, inhibin produce negative feedback. Option number 1 anterior pituitary and option number 2 hypothalamus. And if we are to select either of the one option, the correct option will be anterior pituitary, because the receptor cell, the cells having receptors for inhibin are more in number in anterior pituitary, but not in the case of hypothalamus. That is why inhibin brings negative feedback. Very clear? Inhibin brings negative feedback mainly on anterior pituitary and least or negligible negative feedback over hypothalamus. And this happens when actually when the follicular development stage starts, then there is a release of estrogen from the granulosa cells. If estrogen level is high and FSH level is high, it will promote more number of follicles to begin their maturation or further development. Even the one cycle of menstruation has not been completed. So if the follicular growth of one cycle already started, so new follicle to be not start from the behind, so the level of FSH to remain to be less. That is why inhibin is being produced from the endosa cells of developing follicle, which suppresses. किसके लिए है basically? This basically for FSH means when this inhibin acting upon anterior pituitary, so due to this inhibin, the level of FSH is reduced. The level of FSH is reduced. Very clear? Not the significant decrease in the level of LH. Estrogen hormone has two kind of feedback. As I told, this estrogen hormone two kind of feedback, positive as well as negative. Whenever the estrogen level is low, if estrogen level is low, in that case it will produce the negative feedback, and when estrogen level is high, it will produce the positive feedback on the both of the gland, anterior pituitary and hypothalamus. And progesterone mainly negative feedback, and due to the level of progesterone, the level of GnRH, FSH and LH hormone drops manyfold, because if the progesterone is released, is being secreted in the female, it means ovulation has already been taken place. And as you know, ovulation takes place on the mid of menstruation cycle, that is 14th day of a menstruation cycle, that is duration is 29 days. तो 28 to 29 days की menstruation cycle में the release of ovum around the 14 days, and after next ovulation, after ovulation next 14 days till this cycle is completed, no new follicle development should start, or that is why these hormones must be brought to the minor level or in such a level that they should not initiate the follicular development once the continuing cycle is completed. That is why high progesterone gives a negative feedback. Very clear? And hence we are coming to the end point of this biological timing, the cellular timeline. Different changes are taking place, multiple checkpoints are there. Very clear? Fertilization if happens, then completion of second meiotic in the secondary oocyte. Very clear? And hormones are also having a great role in regulation in this process of oogenesis. Thank you दोस्तों. Again, I just want to request you, please do subscribe my channel, share with your friends, press the button. ज़्यादा मुझे ये सब चीज़ें बोलना नहीं आता है दोस्तों, बहुत क्लियर कट बता दूं, बहुत एक कह सकते हैं कि दिस इज अ बिगनिंग for you people. Just help me out in order to grow my channel. Thank you so much. God bless you all.